Hello, I'm Janet Green Garrison, and I've been teaching yoga for over 50 years. And I'm also in a writer's group. And sometimes what I write to my yoga students also becomes the piece I share with my writer's group that week. And so this is what I wrote just this past week. It's August 11th, 2022. And this is for my yoga students. I call it Yoga Changes. Working alone, planning ahead, trying to imagine what folks want. That's what I do in my head much of the time. Often I call out to myself, where is my board of directors? Over the years, I have called on friends, folks who attend the yoga classes, walk with me, bike with me, have dinner, and share music around town. They might not be aware of it, but they are part of the mythical board of directors. Recently, I invited about 40 folks who have participated in the early morning Yoga First sessions over the past 2 years to come to a Zoom party in order to have some time to share more than the namastes at the end of a class. I know that there are many common interests and concerns among this group, and being the matchmaker that I am, I love to see the friendships that develop in the Yoga for Health community. Trying to figure a good day and time for this party is a challenge, and in the end, the whole idea might be one that the BOD would veto as not needed or wanted by the gang. I can handle that. I have a mountain of good ideas that stand over there in the corner of my office. Sometimes they don't get that far, and they hang out for months on a yellow sticky note on the desk and get moved around and restacked to be reconsidered later. In my musing mind this morning, I was shuttled back to my earliest days of discovering yoga. I was in my 20s and had wandered into my first classes with Ray Klein at the University of Pittsburgh's Phys Ed department on top of Cardiac Hill. In that first semester, yoga had captured my full attention, and I was closing myself in my bedroom to practice what Ray taught in our twice-weekly 50-minute class. This was before the days of sticky mats, and I graduated myself from a beach towel to a throw rug to having a weaver I'd met at a local crafts fair make a magnificent wool rug in my favorite colors and to the measurements of a yoga mat. Because of this daily practice, I had looked at the habits that were not helping me figure out my life, and I had chosen to make some changes. I quit smoking my beloved Territons. I stopped eating junk food. I became a macrobiotic in my diet choices and no longer wanted to hang out with my buddies who were dropping Quaaludes before the party. As Ray had intimated from Yoga Wisdom, practice and your bad habits will simply fall away. Never being known to swallow the Kool-Aid, I didn't really believe that cigarette smoking could just fall away. But sure enough, it did in a fairly effortless way. A few years later, I got my first real full-time job that began my career as a substance abuse counselor. The first week that I went to work at Gateway Rehab, a 28-day residential treatment program for drug addicts and alcoholics, I was told that I would be treated as a patient. I attended every lecture, participated in group counseling sessions every day, and visited the aftercare department. I also attended AA and NA meetings. I listened, observed, and learned the medical model of addiction and recovery. I learned that addiction was a disease that could destroy the body, mind, and spirit of anyone who got caught in the ugly grip of any drug or alcohol. Gateway taught me that a solid recovery included addressing the physical, mental, and spiritual underpinnings of addictive behavior. With my years of yoga training and practice, the epiphany was instantaneous. Yoga, the union of all parts of ourselves, body, mind, and spirit. Yoga and 12-step AA philosophy was a match made in heaven. Recovery is a lifelong commitment, and so is yoga. If you want the benefits of sobriety or of yoga, you will need to practice it daily. Maybe you don't get to an AA meeting every day or get onto your sticky mat every day, but you do wake up every day intending to be the best person you can be. You try to be honest and kind, generous and helpful. You are mindful about how you walk through your day and how you treat others. One of the lessons I learned at Gateway, and I tried to instill in my patients there, was that nothing changes if nothing changes. Meaning, if you keep visiting bars, hanging out with your druggy friends, and keep your secret stashes of booze, you will probably relapse. As a new employee at Gateway, I was keenly aware that I was not an alcoholic or an addict and would be confronted by patients that would claim that I couldn't really teach them about sobriety because I had never experienced the horrors of addiction. I responded by telling them that I might not be an expert like them about addiction, but I was an expert on how to live a life that was drug-free, included good friendships, and a healthy mindset. I also realized that years earlier, as I began my practice of yoga, I had unknowingly taken the advice that I would later learn about at Gateway. As I became more and more immersed in yoga, I had changed my people. I had changed my friendships, the places that I hung out, and the things that I wanted to be around me. My fellow yoga students became my friends, and I was no longer attracted to bars and parties where drugs were the main entertainment. I attended yoga class, and I wanted my home to be filled with sunlight and Buddha statues and books about others who had followed the path of yoga, choosing carefully the people, places, and things in my life. When only 2 out of the 68 Yoga First participants signed up to attend the Zoom party on a hot August evening, I began to think that some things had changed in my world of yoga. Several folks responded that they had other plans that night and would gladly come another time. Maybe times have changed with COVID, and we are all tired of Zoom and would rather be on the beach for sunset. 50 years ago, when yoga was just beginning to blossom in the West and mindfulness was a new concept, I was desperate to find others who could show me that I was choosing a path of promise, that this strange and ancient tradition could hold me, body, mind, and soul, through a lifetime. Maybe now that yoga is everywhere and meditation is taught in corporations and preschools and in mothers groups, maybe we don't need a Zoom party to bring us together. That's okay. It's wonderful. It's been a thrill of a lifetime to see how yoga's popularity has exploded and touched the lives of millions. I am humbled to have played a small part in this trajectory. I'll see you on the mat tomorrow, and we'll smile at one another in our Zoom boxes and feel the family that we have become.